If you want to change anything about your health, about your, learning habits, eating habits, physical habits, building a business, improving in career, all of it, every single thing that you want that is new is eliciting stress. So you have to get really comfortable with stress or you won't see change, right? You're literally creating it. So if you have a problem with stress, you're not going to progress in life at all.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of the What the Nell podcast with yours truly, Nell Tice. I have another amazing guest with me today that I am really excited to talk to because I think today's topic about turning stress and anxiety into joy and creativity is going to really align with a lot of you. And so I'm really excited to talk about that. But first, let me introduce my guest. He is Christian Ray Flores, who is a high performance coach. He's an entrepreneur and an international recording artist and philanthropist with a story that spans continents and industries. From a childhood as a refugee in Chile to becoming a pop star in Eastern Europe, we'll talk more about that, launching award-winning media ventures and leading global philanthropy. His journey is a masterclass in resilience, reinvention, and impact. Christian also has a master's in economics and fluency in 4 languages. That's crazy. He's built and advised startups that have raised millions for businesses and has raised millions for businesses and missions. He's coached top executives, founders, and creatives to sustain a peak performance. He has also co-founded Third Drive Media, which produces content that moves audiences and fuels innovation. He leads Exponential, where he empowers high achievers to maximize success and significance. He is also, additionally, the host of Headspace by Christian Ray Flores, the podcast, and he is also an author of Little Book of Big Reasons to Love America. A man of many, many talents and ideas and innovations. Christian, welcome to the What the Nell podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to hear more about your story. So tell us, pop star, author, podcast host, philanthropist, entrepreneur, what, where, how did all of this start?
Well, it's usually with most people who end up being sort of overachieving, it starts with drama and agony and pain, right? So yeah, so basically my drama was actually layered. There was multi countries. I was a refugee out of Chile when I was 5 years old. There was a military coup there. My dad was in a concentration camp there. We're refugees in an actual United Nations facility. Then we moved to, got asylum in Germany, in Munich, went back to Russia. My mom was Russian. She wanted to be back home. And it was worse because it was like this communal apartment, poverty, Soviet Union kind of stuff. Then my dad got a contract in Africa, in Mozambique. So I basically moved 4 countries by age 7. And about a year into living there and learning everything new, there was a civil war that started up north. It didn't affect us directly in the sense that there was not war right in our backyard, but there were bombings in the city, things like that. So it did affect us in significant ways. And then basically we moved back to Russia. My parents got divorced. That's another sort of big thing. And then in Russia, I basically saw the collapse of the Soviet Union, tanks in the streets, another attempted coup. So it's this civil unrest seems to follow me everywhere I go. I'm a little bit worried about Austin, Texas. And basically that's the backstory. As it's a pretty dramatic, right, multi-layered. And I basically was very musical my whole life, but I got a degree in economics. And I was like, I'm not going to do economics. I'm in my 20s. I'm going to start pop music. I'm going to start this. I'm going to try it for a few years, see what happens. And it just so happened that it was this window in Russia, post-Soviet Union, where there's complete freedom and things that were attractive, interesting, actually did pop. And I sort of was on national television by year 1, ended up selling millions of albums, playing sports arenas,
oh my gosh.
My Boris Yeltsin used my song as the anthem for his election campaign against the communists. And basically that was sort of a big reversal of my fortunes. after being
Wow.
essentially a refugee and not fitting in anywhere for a long time.
Sure, sure. Wow, that's an incredible story. It sounds like not just drama that, and pain and things like that that has really followed you, but I'm sure there was a lot of stress, a lot of
A
anxiety.
lot of it, yes.
Yeah, I mean, some of which, like, I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you from experience. I mean, that's just something
Yeah.
that I don't think
Yeah.
most people have experience with. But how did you cope with that?
Well, there's a few things that were sort of, I would say, instinctual, right?
Hmm.
For example, early on when I was a kid, I went inward. So I read a lot of books. And that
Mm.
was, in the short run, that's how I coped with reality. I escaped it into books. I didn't escape it into drugs. I didn't escape it into television. I didn't have any television there. It was,
Yeah.
it was kind of in the middle of nowhere, right? And so I escaped into books. I escaped into imagination. So that was sort of the early thing. Now, in hindsight, I understand how that was the source of my creativity, right? I could imagine whole worlds because I was in books for hours and hours on end. So that was one. The other one was quick. I, you're forced to learn quickly. So I learned four languages by age 9. I adapted. You're prompt. You're almost like you have to read people faster, right? To
Mm.
try to fit in.
Good point. Hmm.
So there's all these layers, right? But I think eventually, I think community was a big deal for me early on.
Sure.
And I grew up in this I was just so lucky. And you can say, oh, well, how is that lucky? You grew up in one of the poorest countries in the world. Well, I had this community of exiled Chileans that all were contracted to do all kinds of things for this
Hmm.
new country that was born, Mozambique, after the colonial powers left. So we had this super tight community that was hanging out at each other's houses. The kids played together, went to school together. We had like parties every week. We met in homes. So community, I actually had a better community than most Americans have uh,
Yeah.
growing up, right? Because
Hmm.
it's a much more atomized society. So it's all these things really helped. And eventually, when you make sense of them, you go, "Oh, I know how to reverse engineer this and help others." Basically, that's essentially my story.
That's beautiful. And I think community is the one constant that we always have to turn to.
Yeah.
Television won't always be there, and drugs,
Hmm.
alcohol, all of those things are so,
Yeah.
it's fleeting and temporary and things like that, but community really is forever. And
It
that's
is.
really
Yeah.
beautiful.
And I think
Yeah.
it's the most powerful thing. I mean, I think there's all kinds of studies about PTSD can be healed best by community,
Mm.
the trauma in general, right?
Yeah.
And how do you build that, etc. So that's a powerful construct that you can develop some skills
Sure.
and cope with all kinds of stress and anxiety.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, one would probably argue to say that you were a bit in survival mode
Yeah,
when
a
you were
lot.
looking for these ways to cope. So, what would you describe as the first like mindset shift that someone would need to make to start turning stress and anxiety into a positive piece or creativity?
I would say this. I would say understanding that the minute you wake up, for all of your neural pathways, your autopilot, you know, is turned on. This is how you live
Mhm.
your life, right? You are accustomed to brushing your teeth a certain way, going to the fridge and getting something, checking your email. What's the first thing you do? You check your email, right? You check your phone, that sort of thing. So understanding how you're wired 90% to function on autopilot. And that's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, right? So
Sure.
when you drive your car, your autopilot, you have to think about turning the blinker on, for example.
Hmm.
You're on autopilot on all kinds of
Yeah.
levels. So, but also you have autopilots that make you fail on autopilot. you know, so you wake up, if you start thinking about financial stress, relational stress, anxiety, you're in survival mode. That autopilot literally sets you up for the day to fail during the day, to rinse and
So
repeat
true.
the pattern of failure. So if you learn how to reprogram that, and the first thing you do is to change your mindset in the very beginning, the first hour of your day, you can win the day. That's what I call that, win the day. I teach that in my clients, and literally I teach people how to go from stressed to creative in an hour, every single day, every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And I kid you not, week one, you will feel the difference. Week one. It doesn't take 3 months, it doesn't take 6 months, it takes 2-3 days. And the trick is how to not slide into autopilot of not doing it, right?
Yeah.
And how to keep that on, how to create a habit out of it, etc. But the change will be instant if you know what you're doing, basically. So, but that's a very doable thing. Anybody can learn it. It's not complicated. It just takes doing it, basically getting the guidance, doing it, and then allowing it to become a habit that you can't unlearn.
Yeah, and they say it takes 21 days to form a habit. And I mean, that is something simple that you can do, and it's something right away. And I think that first hour after we wake up is the most important point of the day. We don't have all the things in front of us to distract us from, oh, we should do this or that. And it's right there. You're fresh. It's able to happen. And I really, truly believe that if you can change that, especially at that point in the day, then it's easier to become a habit.
It's absolutely magical. It really, really is. And
for sure.
I basically teach people to do 3 things. One is a contemplative practice, and there's like 5 ways to do just that one thing. 2 is a physical activity. You lift weights, you walk, you get outside, right? Get some sun on your skin. And 3 is you master a new skill. In that first hour, if you do all 3 things, and there's a lot of nuance there. You can master it in ways that are just going to blow your mind and will change your life forever. If you do 3 things every single day, you will win the day. Your mindset will shift, guaranteed, from anxious, I'm worried about something, I'm sort of low energy, I don't know what's going to happen, even short term or long term, into creative, sharp, high energy. And then the rest of the day, you can bet those chips of creativity, of high energy into making progress. So what it does, it compounds over time. So imagine if you know how to win one day, and it's guaranteed, it's predictable, it's on demand. Then you can win 2, then you can win 7. Then you can have a month of that. Then you can have a year of that. Can you just imagine for a second, if your life would be optimized this way, what would happen to your career, your relationships, your marriage, all of it?
That's pretty powerful to think about that way.
Yeah, it compounds.
It's compounding, just like compounding interest.
It is exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. So, I believe, and I don't know if you believe this or not, I believe there is a healthy stress that we can experience to help motivate us and help us to continue to grow and fuel growth, honestly. So how can someone recognize a healthy version of stress versus a version of stress that is toxic and erodes at our well-being? How can you tell the difference? And how can you tell the difference?
Well, if you think about it, if you want to build a new future, you want to change your life. All change is stress. You're saying, I will consciously, intentionally create more stress for myself. That's what you're saying. If you want to change anything about your health, about your learning habits, eating habits, physical habits, building a business, improving in career, all of it, every single thing that you want that is new is eliciting stress. So you have to get really comfortable with stress, or you won't see change, right? You're literally creating it. So if you have a problem with stress, you're not going to progress in life at all. So that's it. Like, you have to master stress. You have to dominate stress. You have to crush stress on demand. So it's not about stress being an enemy. Stress is not an enemy. Stress is just your body saying danger, danger, whatever. Usually it's outside, completely irrational and sort of primal, right? Your body will attack anything new that you come up with because your mind's responsibility is to keep you alive. It's not to keep you thriving. It's to keep you surviving, And so stress is a really good thing, I believe, and it's just understanding how to process it, what to do about it, and then how to then be stressed about new things that I was stressed about last year, I'm not stressed about today. If you're stressed about the exact same thing, that's like, to answer your question, but how do you know the difference? If you're stressed about the exact same thing today that you were last year, you're probably not learning something.
That's a mic drop.
So just saying, right? Like if stressing about, oh man, I'm overeating again, I'm like binging on Ben and Jerry's and on Netflix every night, and then a year from now you're doing the same thing and you're like, oh, my self-esteem is really low. Yeah, you probably haven't learned something, that you probably need to learn.
I would agree with that for sure.
Or even on a higher level, obviously, like if you're stressing over, how do I create more content, regular content, for example? Like I know your business, you produce podcasts and videos and stuff like that. I've spent years doing that kind of thing as well, and still do it, obviously, because we're on a podcast right now, right? But if you want to create a personal brand, that's sort of the specialty that I have in coaching, right? I help people create a personal brand. That's like the hyper focus. If you want to create a personal brand, you have to start doing certain things that you didn't do before. For example, creating content. You will not be known and trusted as an authority in your field unless you publish something.
So true.
That will create stress if you don't have a habit of publishing, of creating interesting content. You'll have to create it, write it, produce it, put it out there, publish it. You need a rhythm, a topic, some sort of arch, a structure, even being able to analyze what works, what doesn't, what helps people, what doesn't. All of those things, right? So, and most people will literally know that. They go, I get it. I understand that in order for me to create a personal brand, I need to create content, create a podcast, right? Even if I have the help of a company like yours to produce it for you, which is a huge deal, because if you don't have the help of a company like yours, you'll have to know how to do it yourself.
Right, exactly.
Pretty much. Okay. Okay, let's say you remove that stress because we hire you. You still have to come up with the content.
Sure.
You have to, so you need
the content doesn't just create itself.
Yeah, it doesn't create itself. So you need to create a lifestyle around having enough space to be creative, to think deeply, to breathe, to think about the future, to serve people with the expertise that you offer. And you have to put you have to create the space for it. And then you have to write it. Then you have to produce it, put it out there in a newsletter, in a video, in a podcast, in a book. For that, you have to be able to reliably be creative, happy, joyful, clear-minded, high energy every single day. You have to.
Yeah.
You do not have a choice if you want to build a personal brand. So that's why, there's coaching programs and all kinds of obviously amazing people who help people do that. And some of them, I was coached by someone, for example, I'll give you an example of a great tactical coach, not a very good strategic coach. Right? A tactical coach that says you need A, B, and C. I paid him several $1,000s to do it. Hey, what are the elements? What are the things that I need to do this and this and this? So all kinds of insane materials, manuals and videos and Kajabi modules. Like you're inundated with this stuff that is all probably right and true. You have zero ability to process it all, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about tactic. It's about you have to do A, B, C, D, and F and G. But you're not given the training to be in a mindset to even do that. So the first thing that we deal with, when I coach people, I call it fuel. How do you replace your bad fuel with good fuel? Like if you can't go from stressed, overwhelmed, busy, no margin to happy, clear-minded every single day, I don't care what they throw at you. They can throw the manual at you, give you 50 modules of what to do, 10 strategies, proven strategies, all the stuff that the internet's full of, right? You're not going to be able to do it. So you start with the mindset, with the lifestyle changes. You have to become creative. You have to be able to deal with stress and do fine with it. I can be stressed today in the morning when I wake up. Everybody has those mornings where you have this micro anxiety attack about something that went wrong, right? And you have to be able to go from that and know for sure that in an hour you'll be back to normal.
Yeah.
That's
huge.
That's non-negotiable. It's huge.
Yeah.
Everything, if you can't do that, that's the foundation, right? If you can't do that, you can't do anything else, because everything else you will be doing under this sort of this dark cloud of I'm not enough, or I'm failing. I'm probably going to fail. Of course I'm going to fail, and everything it'll be mechanical. It won't be inspired. You'll go on a podcast like I'm going on a podcast and be all jazzed up and sort of act the part, of this high energy sort of person, and people won't buy it because they'll feel your energy. And what you need to do is figure out how to be actually confident, actually have vision, and that's all the first hour can shape that, and most people just skip that. They go, just tell me what to do, sure, I'll tell you what to do, but you need to change first,
You're speaking the truth, my friend. Yeah, I mean, oh my goodness. It feels heavy sometimes because it's putting a lot of pressure. I'll be honest, it's putting a lot of pressure on that first hour of the day, but the pressure is there because of the importance of it. Yeah. And speaking of pressure, once, we get into that space where we can let some of these things go. Let's say we've got the hour down. We've put ourselves in the mindset. This is awesome. Now we've got the space to be creative. We can think and do with that time whatever it is that we need to be creative. What about burnout? How do you suggest that someone, how do we avoid burnout? How do you suggest that someone, how do we avoid it?
Well, I would say, that's the thing is, if you learn the first hour how to win the day, I call it win the day, right? You won't be burned out ever. Yeah. That's the beauty of, if you want to invest your time to master a new skill, master that one first because it's foundational. That's your fuel. Mm-hmm. Your fuel is clarity, joy, creativity, flow. It's like, imagine putting like the lenses of winning into your mind, and everything you do is better, clearer, more strategic, all of that, right? Now, every once in a while, of course, you will overschedule, overinvest in this, underinvest in that, don't get enough sleep, all of those things. Of course you will. But getting back to, okay, what did I do wrong? How can I recalibrate? What do I need to cut? Is you use that same winning the day technique to correct, right? And then you make good decisions rather than going, okay, I can't even think straight. I've been there for years on end, right? I know how it feels. So you can go, well, I'm a failure. I'm definitely too old for this, or I can't learn these new tricks or whatever, right? Or you can go, you know what? I need to figure out how to predictably change that baseline of happiness, right? And what is it? It's not just a contemplative practice, a physical practice, nutrition, let's say, learning a new skill. It's also community. Who are you with? Who are your friends? How are you with your family? So that's another layer.
Sure.
So what I talked about until now is tactics, right? It's how do you fix it? How do you? But then there's a layer above that. We call that the radar, which is basically 7 dimensions that are we measure them. Basically, we quantify them, right? And it's self-assessment, obviously, but it's incredibly fascinating because it's what's your faith, meaning your spiritual world, your family, your friendships, your finances, your fitness, and your fun. That's it. Those are the 7 that I measure, right? And this is actually based on like incredible research. I just simplify it and crystallize it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's literally proven, I don't care who you are, from what culture, what language you're speaking, these are the 7 macro elements of a thriving individual. And the top 4 are the most important, meaning your faith, your spiritual, your essentially, if you're not a religious person, let's say, and you listen to this, think of it this way. If you are the center of your universe, you're going to be stressed out all the time. If you have a transcendent practice, you're not the center of the universe. The universe is a big thing. God, the universe. You are a small speck. Have some perspective. You're going to have a better sense of humor about your life, right? So that's faith. Family, it's inevitable that if you have a terrible marriage, it's going to affect everything. You're going to be stressed out anyway. So you can have a technique on how to de-stress yourself, but if your marriage sucks, your kids don't respect you, you're going to be stressed out tomorrow again, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have any friends, if you're lonely, you're going to be stressed out tomorrow again.
Yeah.
If you don't have any colleagues that bring you up, if you're involved in toxic relationships, you're going to be stressed out again, which means, okay, you have the technique to get out of it, but you're going to be back into it, right?
You need to get to the root cause.
Exactly. So that's the radar piece, right? It's the 7 F's. And we measure it. We're like, hey, pay attention to these things. And it's really amazing because when I take I basically say, okay, here's the self-assessment. Don't overthink it. Give me a 1 to 7 on all of those 7 F's, right? Even if you're right now listening, you can actually do it like in the moment, like literally put like, write down 7 F's. I'll give it to you right away again, and give me a 1 to 10, like right there without overthinking it. Faith, family, friendships, finances, fitness, which is health in general, and fun. How often do you laugh? Do you do fun stuff? Do you rest well? Rate yourself from 1 to 10 on each one of them without overthinking. And I can right now give you a clear, without knowing anything about you, tell you something about yourself. Here's what I'm tell you. If you're scoring between 8 to 10 on all 7, you're crushing it. And even if you're not crushing it, you will crush it tomorrow. Like, it's inevitable. If you have a 2 or 3 in more than 2 or 3 categories, you are in danger. Trouble is around the corner, or you are in trouble already, right now. And you're very, very vulnerable, meaning you might be doing okay, but you're going to come crashing down like a house of cards tomorrow. That's how clear this kind of thing is. I'm telling you, right? Wow. That's how predictive the radar is. So we talk about these things all the time in our in our cohorts and talking one-on-ones. Like, hey, how's your radar, man? Oh man, you know what? Like, this dimension took a hit. It's like 2 points down. Okay, why? Let's address this. Okay, what's this overall score? Let's start with the things that are lowest scoring, because those are the things that make you vulnerable and weak. Start with that, correct it, push it up. And then you have this beautiful picture of between an 8 and a 10 across the board. Your success is completely inevitable. Completely inevitable. There's no way you're gonna fail. You're gonna be fine.
That's really cool. I hope that people that are listening or watching right now are taking this evaluation and doing this, because I think there are so many of us that are either afraid or just we think we've got it all together, or we're just disassociating or delusional about what's actually going on. And if you write these things down, if you rate them something, the numbers don't lie.
They don't.
And as with all data. So for those that are afraid or are living in delusion about where they may rank in these areas, what advice would you give to someone that's afraid?
Well, the first step is acceptance, right?
Yeah.
Like, just write it down. Rate yourself. It's 7 F. It's very, very simple. It's like, it cannot be more simple. And then take a hard look at the score, right? What's the total score? What's the individual score? Are you going between 8 and 10 across most of them? Great. You're good. Then, okay, pick the lowest one, improve that. If you're pretty low, like between 2 and 3 on 3 different dimensions or more, you are absolutely vulnerable. You're either in trouble or about to be in trouble, and you probably know it. just as you
Yeah.
hear this, So then attack the things that are lowest and get help. And it can be counseling, right? Like counseling is dealing with things of your past that are the reasons why the score is low.
Sure.
You can get coaching. Coaching is really more about building a new future, right? And they overlap a little bit in the middle for sure, right? We do a lot of sort of work on the past and stuff like that as well, but they overlap. But you can be like, the getting help is the best accelerator you can get, just like, for example, with you do production of video, you production of podcasts, right?
Yes.
If I'm somebody who wants to build a personal brand and I don't have the skills that you have, either I pay you to do the thing that I suck at, or I have to learn those skills. It takes me longer.
Right.
So you either pay with money or you pay with time, right? So it's the same thing with the radar. You do it on your own, and if you're underwater, it takes a while. I've been there. Like I've been in places where it took me 3 years to go from sort of kind of, really stuck, okay, functional, not miserable, but honestly unhappy, not clear about the future, not knowing what to focus on. I'm puzzling too much. I'm going in different directions. I don't maintain one steady direction. It took me 2-3 years to figure out sort of the win the day stuff that I now teach. And then when I get it, I'm like, oh, I can predictably do this for me. I can teach somebody to do it in a week. That becomes a huge part of my coaching and my offer now, right? When people go, no way. I'm like, just trust me. Just do what I say. Call me in 3 days. Tell me how you feel. Inevitably, if they do the work, they'll go, I can't even understand how this is real. I don't understand how easy it is. I'm like, look, first of all, it's not easy. It's easy for me because I taught you now, right? But also it's not easy. It's not going to be easy for you in a week because you don't have the habit yet. Right. So let's work together to make this thing easy. It's going to be like second nature for you. So that's sort of the point, right? If you're in that state of, just get help. Yeah. Just get coaching. Join a mastermind, it accelerates. You either pay with time or you pay with money, and you will pay regardless. Like in my book, if it's something that's important to me, I will pay with money because I want to get there faster. Yeah. If it's something that is sort of, I'm okay. I think I'm going to get there. It's not huge on my priority list. I can pay with time. That's fine. It's just up to you.
Sure.
But I think self-awareness is probably the key here, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you think about it, time is more costly than money.
It really is, yeah. Like
it's the one resource we can't get more of.
Nope. We all have the same amount of it. Like it's unstretchable. You can always make more money. Time is the most precious asset you have.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Well, I have a few lightning round questions.
Go for it.
If you will, that I think would be really fun to do if you're up for it. So, okay. First question. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, probably 3 or 4.
Okay.
First question. And these are questions, don't think about them too much. Just tell me what comes to the top of your head.
Okay.
Okay. So first one, what is one book or resource that you return to when you need a little bit of encouragement?
I would say the War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. That's probably the one that I've reread several times in a row. That's the one, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I like that. I hope everyone's taking notes. What is the best piece of advice that you have ever received about handling stress?
About handling stress specifically?
Yes.
I think the unexpected connection between stress and exercise. It's when I learned that there's an actual protein that is only secreted by contracting muscles, and it's called by the hope protein.
Okay.
So there's an actual pharmacy inside of you that gets activated through physical effort. And I think, I always thought, okay, meditation, prayer, contemplation, I get it. Absolutely.
Sure.
Game changer. For the longest time, I couldn't understand the connection between de-stressing yourself and physical activity to that level of like, it's off the charts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up. That's pretty awesome. Okay. When was the last time you felt pure joy, and what sparked it?
Pure joy. Yesterday, I'm in Cozumel on the beach with my love, the love of my life, my wife.
Oh,
And there's just nothing lacking, right? It's the sun, the person you love the most, the emerald waters of the Caribbean, beautiful underwater stuff. I did like 2 dives 2 days ago in a row in these
nice.
insane coral reefs. So yeah, just
I
day or
love
two
that.
ago.
It's so
So
simple. You don't need to have
no,
all these things
yeah,
to experience pure joy, and
yeah.
that's
Oh,
really a
I feel
beautiful
it all the
thing.
time. Yeah, I feel it all the time. And that's sort of honestly part of the whole practice and lifestyle change that you can. It takes a little bit of time to do,
Mhm.
but you with part of it of developing your highest abilities and developing a personal brand and a lifestyle that it brings, the choices, the freedom, all of those things. You part of the motivation for that is you experience pure joy, honestly, daily.
Yeah.
Like I'm not exaggerating,
Mm-mm.
daily.
Yeah. Yeah. I thank you for saying that, because it's something that I actually posted about this last week. If you're not pinching yourself every day, are you dreaming big enough?
I agree. I totally agree.
And I think it's something that I wish everyone could experience, and they
And the
can.
reason why most people don't experience that is that it's fear, and the
Yeah.
unwillingness to endure pain today to avoid pain tomorrow. You
Mm,
know, like
yes.
it's delayed gratification, right?
Hmm.
And it comes in waves, right? So I have pain that I do not want to endure today, that I know I have to endure so that I can be more fulfilled and have more impact in the next. And it's like there's always a level, right?
Yeah.
But I'm also enjoying a level of joy and freedom and focus and fulfillment now that I didn't enjoy a few years ago, right?
Sure.
But I had to endure the pain back then so I can be where I'm at now.
So
Yeah.
true.
So
So true. And that is an entire podcast episode in
yes,
itself.
indeed. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Christian, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on this episode. If someone wishes to connect with you, perhaps seek out any of your services, how can people get in touch with you?
Okay, so let's put the people that are leaning in today in your audience into 2 categories.
Hmm.
One is, ooh, I would love to sort of stay in the loop, right? The
Hmm.
stay in the loop category. And the other one is, I need this right now. I need some guidance. Where do I sign? Right? Those are the 2
Hmm.
categories. The first one, I would say, go to my podcast and newsletter, the XC podcast and newsletter. By the way, I renamed it from Headspace to XC,
Oh,
and it's Exponential Edge.
okay.
It was a little bit more. I was like, Headspace is good because it's a mindset focus. Exponential Edge, it's a little bit more proactive. Okay, what is it
Yeah,
in you that we can activate so you can have a completely different life?
love that.
So go to christianrayflores.com. That's the URL for the newsletter. And then you can just do the XC or Exponential Edge on YouTube. Just search for it and you'll find it. So
Perfect.
that's for the first category. The second category, hey, where do I sign? How can I? What do I learn? How do I get there? Right? It's my coaching website, exponential.life without the E, spelled without the E. On it, actually, I really highly recommend you go for it anyway, because there's a really cool assessment,
Mm.
a scorecard essentially. It'll ask you a bunch of questions about building a personal brand, and if you
Ah,
answer obviously honestly, it will give you a really good read on, okay, what do you have going for you to build a personal brand, build a new future? What do you have to work on? And you get it in your inbox in about 5 minutes, about 30 questions, something like that. It's
that's
free.
great.
Highly
That's
recommend it.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think I'll be headed there at
Yeah,
some
please do.
point here. That's amazing. So I do encourage anyone that's listening and or watching to please reach out and experience one of the two ways that Christian suggests experiencing. This has been a great conversation, Christian. I really appreciate you taking the time and your expertise to our audience. It's truly amazing how just 1 hour in a day can truly impact and make an entire lifetime of difference.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I agree.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So thank you so much for being here. And to all of you who are listening or watching, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you've taken something away from today's episode. And please don't hesitate to reach out, give us some feedback, leave us a review. That's how we grow here. And if you are listening on your favorite audio platform, please don't forget to make sure you subscribe to the show, download all of the episodes. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with a friend, because undoubtedly you know someone that needs to hear this message too. So thank you to everyone, and as always, I will catch you on the next one.